Here we are again. We're in a bush. So I'm scouting out this place, which is not too far from where I live. About 15-20 minute drive. And it's a nice little place, but it seems to have a few hunters here during hunting season. Thank God that's over for about a week now, so I can most probably walk in these bushes without getting shot. So I seem to be on an old road. So if you look at that, it's pretty clear, but you see that it's overgrown to the point that I have to check my GPS once in a while. It says that I'm on a road. Like you see, it's got problems with calibration right now there. But I made myself a little track to the place on where I want to go, which is about a 1.5 kilometer walk. And I'm just scouting today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be sleeping in a bush, but my goal is to check out the place, and if it's nice, then I brought all my sleeping gear, which is back at the truck. So I would just hike back and get my tent, my sleeping bag, and all that stuff, and see where that goes. But it's pretty late. I left home around 11. So, and seeing how bushy this terrain is, it's going to be really hard to get where I want to go. The woods are very dirty, so the hike is going to be pretty tough. So this place will be most probably very easy to access during the winter, because as soon as the snow will come, much harder than now, it's going to pile everything down. So I'll be able to just come here with my snowshoes and maybe a sleigh and drag everything behind me. And it'll be much easier to get to where I want to go if it's really nice. So I spotted a little place beside, not too far, beaver dams. So I really want to see how it looks like. But this place is really buffed up, roughed up, or whatever. It's seen better days, let's say. Well, I'm going to head back. This is really not a good spot. As you see, my GPS was warning me I was in a swamp, and you could just see it. I'm not even putting my whole weight because I'm sinking. So I'm walking off the trail right now, just to not get my feet wet. Even if I have waterproof boots, there's a limit to waterproof. They're not diving boots. So it would have been nice. So what we'll do is we'll come back here this winter, because once all this freezes and there's 2 feet, 3 feet of snow, it's going to be a really easy hike because it's all open. Really open, look, you know. And it's like that all the way. So this used to be, back in 2005, they had a clear cut about 500 meters south of where I want to go. And this is the road, I guess, they took to get the logs out. But let's say they don't maintain these roads once they're done, so they're overgrown clearly, but nothing has grown as of yet, like a tree or anything that is big enough to scrap the party. So it's unfortunate, but I have to go back because walking in a swamp is really not pleasant. I don't know for you guys, but I don't like getting to camp and I'm soaking wet and I gotta change everything. And I'm trying to walk back in my paws, but I see some places my paws are submerged already with water. So it's really swampy, and it hasn't really froze yet. So all that swamp is still very, very wet. What do you call it? Wetlands on the map. So I got these maps for my Garmin GPS, which is not a young GPS, but it's a good one. GPS 960 CSX, which is whoops, there we go, which is the one that has all the water. I just sank to my knees, so I'm drenched wet in one boot right now. So yeah, we're going back to the truck. So anywho, this GPS company called GPS Quebec does really cool maps. I'm not endorsing them or anything. I'm just saying I'm a satisfied customer. So what I end up purchasing was all the topography maps for the whole province of Quebec, plus all the, in French they call that éco-forestière, which is the, like a what can I say, a footprint of how the wood is. So how tall are the trees, what kind of trees, has there been a bushfire in the recent years, when's the last clear cuts, and so on. So it's very useful. And the map has warned me that here was a wetland, and the water here is coming down towards the river. So I had expected it to be a little tad drier, but this fall has been ridiculous how much rain we've had. So everything is just soaking wet, and it's going to be like that for a few months, well, a few weeks at least, because we're the 3rd of November right now. Everything's going to be frozen in about a month and a half, and when that's the case, I'll be walking on the frozen pond. But we'll come back here right after the holidays, because my spot that I want to go looks very promising, but it's going to be only a winter camping spot, because as you see, I can't come here during the spring or the fall, and the summer must be ridiculous in bugs, because around here mosquitoes, they just love swampy areas. So I'm a fan of hating bugs, so I don't think I'll be coming here this summer. Sorry to disappoint, but yep. So my right foot is soaking wet right now. I can just feel it. It's almost numb. So I'll go back to the truck and change my socks, try to dry my boot, and there's another spot that I had checked out just in case this one was a failure, which unfortunately it is, and the other spot is much closer to home, again on the Queen's backyard. So if my boots are dry enough today, well, we're going to go check it out. And if it's not the case, well, there's always tomorrow. So, and there's a lot of dead trees here, so my twig stove is going to love this. Well, here we are, day number 2, and yesterday was a fail. Oh, look, rabbit tracks. Little rabbit went by here. So yesterday we went by the South Pass, which ended up into a swamp, and ended up me getting wet and so on. So now I'm parked right beside the road and I'm attempting a north pass. So we're going to go down this. Look at that. That's all open and clear. But I just don't know if it doesn't seem to be a swamp. But there's one way to find out, is to walk through it. I see water all over the place though, on each side, so we're just going to go slowly and see where that goes. But I see all sorts of tracks here. So yesterday I was wondering why I wasn't seeing any tracks, and that's simply because there was no tracks possible there, because it was so full of water that anything would sink. And I'm sinking again. Fuck, man. The swamp everywhere again. See? Look where I'm standing there. I'm just in water everywhere. Fuck. Anyways, we'll go slowly and see where that goes, but shit, that doesn't look promising. It's water everywhere again. Fuck it. So, this is extremely disappointing because I looked promising again. Really want to go to that spot. So like you see, I'm somebody that's very stubborn. But you can see, just look there. There's so much water. You could just see that it's starting to want to freeze. Went down to -10 last night. So the ice is starting to build in some places, but they're announcing like 20 millimeters of rain, which amounts to 2 centimeters, which amounts to 3/4 of an inch of rain, which is a good amount of rain for this time of the year. So all this snow is going to melt on top of all the water that's going to come on top of that. So you can imagine that if it's wet right now, next Wednesday this is going to be a pool. So I'm pretty disappointed. So Tabernacle, let's go to spot number 3, 2, whatever, which is not too far from my place. We'll go check it out, and yep. All right, so spot number 2. So we're about 4 clicks maybe from my house, and this is just about north of my house, northeast, and it's pretty much farmlands all behind me, and on my left, right there, that's all public land, and on that side there, that's all private land. And it's private land pretty much to not too far from here. So my goal is to go on my left, and I just talked to a guy that owns the last house on this road and asked him if it was accessible somewhere, and he has no clue. He says it's been so long since he's been in the bush on this side, but he says it's pretty wet also, and that's the problem of pretty much where I live. Everything is just wet. The soil composition is some kind of clay. The term that we have for it over here is gumbo, and the problem with that is it's already saturated with water, so it doesn't pour. The water doesn't sink, it just stays on the surface, and it's pretty much always like that. So with all of the rain that we had, that created a lot of water, and it's pretty much saturated with water. Nah, look how disgusting this is. Some idiot brought an oil can and left it there. Let's see, right there, That's a private land, so we're not going to go that way. But right now what I'm walking on is public land, so nobody can give me shit about that. I'm on the Queen's backyard, and it's my right. So I'm going to continue walking east, and my goal is to try to go in north eventually, but she would look at that, you know, that's all water there, and pretty much over here too, you know, like all this is it's going to be interesting to walk in. There's a four-wheeler that came by here most probably today, this morning even, because this is fresh snow from yesterday, and there's people hunting in here, so most probably. Look at this water. Well, I just spoke with the owners of the lands south of where I was scouting, and very, very nice fellow. He was there hunting on his lands, so I was hearing a four-wheeler, and I introduced myself to this guy, and we spoke for a good half an hour, and he told me that where I'm spotting is all swamp, and he's from around here. What he told me is all around my area where I am, there's a huge amount of swamps, and where the farmlands are, that's where it's not swampy. But at the end of all the roads, it's pretty much swamp. And there's a nice place that's west of my house that he recommended that will be much more on solid land. So I saw that they made a little road there, and they're most probably preparing to do a clear cut. So what I'll do is I'll go check that out. That was spot number 3. So finally spot number 3 might be spot number 1. So I'm going to go check it out. I'm not going to go too deep, but I'll go check it out for sure, because what I'm looking for is something that is much more firm. You know, if I could find more sand, that'd be perfect, because it's something I can still dig at this time of the year. So if I want to start building a shelter or something, I'll be able to go into the ground, and it freezes much later because it's less saturated with water. So the soil, when it's saturated with water, obviously will freeze much faster. So yep, let's go check out that spot of land, and we'll see how that turns out. So here we are, spot number 3. So look at this, that's much more manageable. All right, just found a little spot. It's not like you see, it's a little clearing I found, but there's dead trees. Like there's one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. There's dead trees everywhere. So I could most probably clear even more space. Like this dead tree right there, I have to clear it, else it's going to fall on me. But I'm thinking of setting camp right here. You know, I'd have to. The soil is not too saggy. It looks like a bit of moss underneath there. You know, like I could just see that's mossy, but there's no water. So I think the soil composition ain't that bad over here. So I think this could work. The soil is very bouncy. It's springy. Spring. So there's one there, and there's one there. I could make something really nice right here. Yep, that's the spot. So I'm just going to be sure by walking all over here. That's not bad at all. And trying to find the north here. Okay, so the north is over there. So the wind is mostly arriving by there. So if the sun is over here, I should make my shelter face that way. So this here would be the back of my shelter. So I'd tie up to that tree and that tree over there, tie a post here, and then make my back wall on that side. And I think that's going to work. So let's get to work. That's rotten. I'll see if the top of it's not rotten. That's gonna be good. I don't even need to. Found myself a little piece of log that is dead. I'm using it as my shelf right now. This is my second axe.
That's my K-bar. It's like a machete, but I love this knife because for battening to hit with another stick, it's perfect for that. It's made of a carbon steel, and it's really sharp, and it keeps its edge. That's what's fun. So, where is my twig stove? There is my twig stove. No, that's not your stove, that's a pot. Ooh. My first aid kit. So I had coffee in here last time, so I was bringing way too much coffee, so I don't plan on drinking coffee like a whore. So I brought only 2 this time. So where can I set up my little twig stove? Down here will be nice. So we're now standing in the shelter. So the back of the shelter is going to come this way, and that is because there's wind coming usually this way. The north is pretty much over there, so behind the camera. So the northwest, northeast, that's mostly where the winds come. So I'm facing south. You can see the sun's over there. Perfect. We're back. Ran out of batteries there. So anyhow, my little rocket stove was not going as planned. So I brought with me some very dry birch, because I don't want to damage that tree, because I could have got some dry birch by cutting it open. But I'm trying to be responsible as much as I can and not impact the forest as much as I can. You know what I mean? Fun if it's all wet. What's fun of a little twig stove is, especially that one, is I can feed it as I go. You know, everything is just soaking wet. You know, these branches are sheety. That's my favorite knife. This is boiling as fuck, so I'll attach my knife later. Let's hope it doesn't fall. And as you see, everything that I don't litter, I put everything back in my pockets. That's boiling. I really expect everybody to do the same. A spoon. That's a bigger spoon than last time, eh? I don't think I'll stay here all day anyways, because I found the spot. That's the important part, and I can see that there's dead trees everywhere, so this is the perfect spot for now. And my goal was to see what was the floor, and like I told you, the floor is spongy, but it's not watery. So I don't know how to explain that, but there's a good absorption. Because you know, like everywhere I'm standing, I don't see any water. and there's a little cushion on the floor, so which I don't care because I'll be making a self-standing bed anyways, which will most probably be right here, and we'll be facing south, so we'll have the sun beaming on us during the day, and with the clearing that I'm going to be making, I'll be making a fire right there. So I'd love to be able to find some rocks though. So let's get to work. That's awesome. Oh, good. I don't want that to fall on my head. So tested strength, and you see some. That's much higher. Huh? Yeah, that's good. So, first down knot, or a square knot, I mean, and then another square knot. Let it settle in. So we have our main structure. I'll take you back a bit so you can see it. So this is going to be the head beam, and down here that's going to be my bed. So the where my pot is, that's outside. The wall is going to come down here like that, because like I said, the sun's over there, so all that is south over there. Okay. But for now, we need to build these, and my first post is right there. It's right outside of my camp, of my shelter. See this? Why not? So this for now is not useful. I'll put it back in the pack. Not really solid. I can most probably break it, but I want it low enough so that it's not in my way. How's that? That does a trick. Is you do a notch the direction where you want it to fall. So I want it to go that way, even if it's precariously going that way. See the notch I did? So now I'm influencing that way. So what I'll do now is get out of its way, because that tree's going to break. And what I'll do is I'll pull it towards me a bit. And see where my notch is? I'll cut just above that notch, going down towards my notch. that's enough. I could just feel it now. So if I just pull it this way, there we go. So that's how you'll predict and direct the tree where you want it to go. Alright, so we got our measurement. It's this tree here, so I got my measuring tool. Let's measure how many saws this is. Oh, that's a bit rotten. Yeesh. You can hear that? Crack. Crack. And this is going to be, I guess, firewood. Now let's put them on here. That's good enough. So this thing's a chainsaw, by the way. I just got that. That's the Boreal Agawa Canyon 21-inch folding saw. It's really, really sharp and it cuts so well. I like it. Alright. So we already have 5. 25 to go. Yay. So let me cut some trees. So my slope's gonna be looking a bit like this. So you can see I have way more than enough room for a bed and still have a good cover. And I might be making an extended roof here. So when I'm done, I'm going to chop all that on top and see where it goes. So it's pretty solid. And I had to clear the floor right here because there's a rotten log right there and another right there. So I'll have to see the floor better. So for now, I'm going to call it a day because there's too much snow still. And like I said, this weekend, we're Sunday right now and it's already melting. So Wednesday, all this is on moss. There's no more snow whatsoever. So next weekend, if there's no snow announced, we'll be right here and we're going to go at it to finish this. And another thing I want to do while I want the snow to clear is this is paracord. So it's supposed to have it's a 7 strand and all that. So it's supposed to have, you see the 7 strands are here. So it's supposed to have 550 pounds of pressure. But still, what I want to do is from the base right there to underneath here is put another log that I'll tie around this tree as a support for this. It's just going to be like a beam that's going to be holding this underneath there. So as I put logs on there, that's going to put a lot of weight. And all these logs are wet. 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 So it's heavy. But there's so much trees that I can choose from, so it's going to be cool. It's a perfect little spot. So I'm going to pack up. Yep. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, people. If you made it all the way this far, because I think this is going to be a long video. Got like 5 hours of footage to edit. So I'll try to condense that to a minimum. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. I try my best to do a weekly video. And I do my best to do a weekly video. And the goal of my videos is to bring you with me in the bush and, well, and give you most of my knowledge that I have acquired over 35 years in the bush. I don't look that old, huh? So that's 35 years of struggling for you guys. I'm doing my best to show you how not to struggle. And the best way not to struggle is to have knowledge of what you're doing. Because anything that you have to learn the steep way is just harder. So if you already have a good foundation and a good base, it makes the extra learning much easier. And I'm learning too. I'm learning about how to film in the bush and how cameras don't like cold and how batteries don't like cold. Because this battery is my second one and it will have survived about 40 minutes max. So good thing I got 4 batteries. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please like, and please share. And I'll see you next time. Okay, so I thought I was recording this, but I wasn't.